Okay, that's kind of how it works, and you'll probably see that in a second or not. When you think about the kind of a bigger kind of what is the plan for MCP overall, here you go. Now he's running for that. If you think about how MCP can work in a more general way, so we believe that if you think about GPT, for example, GPT-o3 went live about 3 weeks ago. As part of kind of the release, they actually let him run an IQ test, the same thing that many people are running themselves. He got 130, which is two standard deviation more than the average, which means that 96%, according to that test specifically, 96% of the human population around the world is actually less smart than O3. Which means that what we want to say is saying, okay, so the agent can be very smart. If we give him all of the information, if we give him an MCP with all of the information possible, what can he do? What can he do? And I think that's kind of how can we think about our tool set. You'll take Explorium is a tool set that you plug into your any LLM, and this LLM will become a go-to-market intelligent machine. In this particular case, you can see that when we looked for Atio, which is a type of a kind of a new age CRM, you can see that they have many changes in the website. They changed from new Atio object to the next gen of CRM because they released different features. We know that there is a security focus because there was no mention of security certification 3 months ago, but now the GDPR, CCPA, and other certificate. And you can see that they didn't have any customer segment. Now they do. So all of those things is not available on the web. However, if you give an agent this freedom of not only testing the web, but also going into every one of those B2B databases that we hold, as I said, more than 25 endpoints, you have more things or more information that you can pull, which is super interesting, especially if in a case where you need that data for, let's say, prospecting, research, and so on. If we'll take another example, which I love, is get the email for visible CISO. So the reason that I love this is because this is something that many go-to-market practitioners is trying to do. They want to reach out to the CISO invisible. Let's say I'm trying to sell a security system, and they're trying to sell directly to Visible, and they want to get to the persona of their CISO. The reason that I'm like this example is because there isn't any CISO for Visible. They don't have a CISO. However, they do have a director of information security. So now the system will need, or the agent will need to automatically figure that out, find this person and use that person and find the email for that person. It can take a bit of a couple of minutes to run that, but the main point will be that the agent, again, and I didn't do anything special for this particular agent. The only thing that I gave him and I refer to the agent as him for some reason. The only thing that I did is just gave him the our MCP. So once I connected it to the MCP, he started working and kind of looking for different ways that he can then solve the question that I ask, and in this particular case, to find the CISO. When we think about the future, we think about what we call usually autonomous future, where the agent will have the autonomicity, I guess, to actually choose what to do and how to solve a problem. And what Explorium does is provide him with the necessary tools in order to solve go-to-market problems. We think of that as a shift because up until now, MCP is usually mainly for integration. We see that as a product. MCP is a product. If you take your MCP and you take our MCP and you connect it to an LLM, the next step that will happen is that this LLM will become a prospecting machine, a go-to-market intelligent machine that you'll be able to use. That's kind of how we think about